We welcome to the podium head coach Matthew Mitchell and student athletes Jennifer O'Neill and Bria Goss, and we will start with questions for our student athletes.
Guys, let's just talk. I know you talked a little bit about this already, about being that number 2 seed, what it means to you to be here, be at home, playing in front of your home crowd, but just kind of give us your thoughts and how practice has gone for you the last couple of days.
Practice has gone well. Everybody's been very focused and in tune in what we have to do. I think it's a privilege to play at Memorial. Again, just being seniors, we get a chance to show our fans how much we appreciate them by playing hard.
And then just to piggyback off of what Jen said, we're so excited to play in front of our fans. Like I've said, and I'll continue saying that we have the best fans in the nation. So just getting the opportunity to play for them in our home is just an unbelievable feeling, and we just want to give them back to what they give us and get a win.
I think this came up at the SEC tournament and maybe a couple times during the end of the season, but Bria, everybody sort of thinks of you as a defensive stopper and kind of the leader on defense. But how much, when Jen becomes a defensive stopper, does that change the game for you guys?
When Jen plays the defense that we know that she's capable of playing, I think the whole team raises their level of play. I think that Jen has every God-gift talent to play defense, and I think when she does and she sees herself on film, it's just noticeably, you can just tell the intensity that she brings on defense. And I'm just going to continue to lead her and make sure she's doing the things that she needs to be doing. But from a defensive standpoint, everyone talks about Jen's offense, but her defense is really not talked about, and it's really something that people can open their eyes to because it's unlike any other, really.
Is there something specific she does during a game when you know that she's on in that way? I mean, are there any points or things about in specific games that you can think of where you thought, okay, she's coming at us strong defensively?
Just at the very beginning of the defensive possession, when you're seeing her up in somebody's face and hot feet, hands up, intense, and then she doesn't relax off the ball. She's talking. I mean, there's so much that goes into defense that people don't really see, but I can always tell when she's in it mentally, when she's doing those things right. So.
Jen, I think when you were a freshman or a sophomore, he was always sort of knocking you for not playing any defense and saying that you weren't willing to be a defender. And is that something you've had to grow into, that role? And when did it the light sort of come on for you, I guess?
Well, we got to go back to that. I've come so far from that. I would probably say maybe my sophomore year, I started to understand what he wanted from me and the expectations that he had for me. So I was more open to listening to what he had to say. And then my junior year, I made a little bit more progress. And then now it's just a responsibility. Like, I have to do my job if I want my team to be successful.
So you guys are in a very intriguing bracket, a lot of storylines that could potentially be there. How are you guys avoiding, or what is Coach doing to help you avoid, looking forward and really just kind of being ready for the next game?
We're just really just taking it one day at a time, one practice at a time, one game at a time, just focusing on the team ahead of us and not getting too far ahead in our schedule. Our assistant coaches have done a great job breaking down the team that we're about to play. And then we also have coaches that are doing, they can look ahead, but they're also just wanting us to just focus on what we need to do to advance. And so just taking it and reminding, the youngsters who haven't been in our position, there's tournament momentum. And that it was very important that we come out here and play them like the best team in the nation. So that's really what we've been telling them.
I think our whole team mindset is really just survive and advance, because nothing is guaranteed right now.
Jen, I think you sat out this game last time. What do you remember from that game, and do you want to do anything to sort of help spur them on when you know you didn't play last time?
I don't remember much from the game, honestly. I just remember that we won. But from looking at film, we're going to have to pressure the ball a lot and make sure that we box out and rebound.
I know Alexis had 27 in this game. It was sort of a breakout game offensively for her. Do you worry about her getting too up for a game like this, or do you guys talk to her at all about don't worry about scoring that many points, or you're not responsible for carrying the offensive load or anything like that?
I don't worry about her getting too up for the game. I hope she does get up for the game just because of her performance last game. But, I mean, I don't really know if she's thought about it or anything like that, but she needs to be ready to play regardless.
Other questions for our student athletes? If not, then our student athletes can be dismissed, and we'll give them a second and then open up for questions from Coach Mitchell. Yep, you guys are good. All right, questions for Coach Mitchell?
You've mentioned it at the SEC tournament and several times toward the end of the season. How do you know when Jen is on defensively, and how far is that from where she started when she got here?
Well, where she was when she arrived was just a player that I think had spent a lot of time on her own with a great basketball skills trainer. And I think they really worked hard on her offensive game. And like in a lot of high school programs or club programs, the emphasis was probably on showcase your skills so you can get a scholarship. So I just don't think that she had ever viewed the defensive end of the floor as really being critical. It was let me work extremely hard on my offense. And you know, the things that happen with defense, especially here, is you have to learn footwork, you have to learn a lot of fundamentals. Maybe it's not the most exciting part of the game, but it's really critical to our success. And I can remember her freshman year, my dad, who's not an expert on basketball, and then I had a good mentor that was an expert on basketball. Both of them would always say, you need to play Jen O'Neal because she can score. And I heard that over and over and over. And I think that was her mentality, like, I'll just show you that you need to play me. And so it was a battle of wills there that freshman year. And I just had to make sure that she knew how important it was just to be responsible for your assignments on defense. We have to play team defense always. So that was where she was when she got here. And I think I don't know that I can say it better than her. I think it just was a process of her really understanding what we needed to do and also understanding that I was not going to give in on that. And now she's critical to our success in this tournament. Her defense is right at the top of the list of things that have to happen for us to be successful tomorrow afternoon. And the way I know is just her body language, her overall energy. I know very quickly whether she's locked in defensively just by her energy on the ball and her attention to detail. And it's funny with Jennifer, you know, we've battled this throughout her career. There's some inconsistency from a focus standpoint sometimes. And when she's sort of doing all the little things right, very consistently, you know she's ready to go. I'll show her all the time in the same game. She was playing screens differently, and that's a lack of focus and a lack of commitment and to defense. So for me, it's pretty quickly, I can diagnose whether she came to play, and then if she didn't, it's really early on. I have to really try to get to her because she has to view herself as being as one of her major responsibilities being defense, and I think she put that well.
Coach, how different is in the back? Is this team your team since the first time you all faced Tennessee State?
Well, we're very different. We didn't have Jennifer and we didn't have Bria, and that first game back from Christmas a lot of times is a difficult game, just trying to get everybody back into the swing of things. I believe that there's some players on the team that have made great progress since then. We don't have Janae. We had her in the first game. So, I mean, it's a different team. Lots happened since then. We've been through a lot since that game. That was our final non-conference game. And, you know, going back and looking at the film, I hope we've improved because there were some pretty glaring deficiencies that night as far as our defensive intensity and hustle, and we need to make sure that's corrected. We need to out-hustle Tennessee State tomorrow. We need to play with maximum effort, and you know, I think that that's something that we've been really stressing the last few weeks of conference play, and we need to go out and be the more energetic team tomorrow. There's no doubt about that.
Some of the struggles you had with Jen defensively, are you having some of the similar issues with some of the freshmen maybe this year, and maybe Alexis specifically, because you've talked about she needs to score 27 because she gives up 20?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, is that one of the things that you're still looking for from her?
Yeah.
Is her with that?
Yeah, I think that here's one thing that I've been proud of our seniors for, and Jen certainly is included in that. But, you know, they have done a really good job of trying to coach the young players. And the younger players haven't always done a great job of listening, and that was where we kind of came to that issue after the Ole Miss game, and we had to try to get refocused on some things. And they've done a good job since then. But I would say that, you know, defensive effort for some of the younger players has been an issue, and for some of them it hasn't. And really, you just have to get your mind wrapped around the importance of it. And you know, when you're and I've always felt like for the post players, it's a little bit further trip than maybe the guards, because you know, if you put yourself in Alexis Jennings' shoes, she's, you know, a high school All-American and top player out of her state, and she's never heard anything different than that. And so a very accomplished high school player and probably was, you know, viewed herself as productive defensively. And so I think the major issues with Jen were kind of understanding what she needed to do, and I think that Alexis probably has those too. You know, I'm a good player, and I don't understand the adjustments that I need to make. But I'll tell you, I've been really happy with her focus this week, and I'm looking for some good defense from her.
Same thing I asked the girls about the matchups that could potentially take place in this bracket, but do you feel like that the team is really focused on the next game, and what are you doing to try to help that?
Yeah, I just constantly talk to them about it and try to make sure that they know how we've had success. Excuse me. I let my 1-year-old play with my whistle for practice, thinking I was doing a good job as a father, and connecting with my child, and now I have her same chest cold. So I've got to guard the whistle from now on. Sorry. Thank you. The thing that makes the NCAA tournament for the men and the women such a popular event is fans who we're grateful to have looking at the matchups and looking at all the storylines, and it's one of the great pieces to the tournament. And I'm a big fan of the tournament too, and I understand that and I get that, and I think it's what makes this so unique and such a great event. When you flip that to a very practical thinking as a basketball team, and I said this on Selection Monday, if you look into the future, well, let me say this, maybe there's some teams that can do that in this tournament. Our team has, we've struggled with focus and attention to detail, and so I don't worry about that a lot because I'm just going to be talking to them about Tennessee State. And also I think it's a real gift and benefit from Tennessee State that you can put the film on and you can show that if you don't do the right things, this team can have success against you. They cut it to 5 points in the second half, under 10 minutes to go in the game. So, I mean, it is tangible, visual evidence that this team can play some good basketball. And you also have to think about they've probably improved since December 28th as well. So I try not to worry about things because then worrying gets me into a negative state. I just try to stay focused on making sure our team understands Tennessee State's the mission right now.
I was wondering how your game with Tennessee State came about, the first game came about, and do you know Coach Inman at all? Do you guys have a relationship? And I mean, he was sort of a legend in Kentucky for a long time. So
we have a very very friendly, close relationship, as close as you can have in this business, as crazy as everybody's time is, and commitments that you have. But, there are a few coaches around the country that you don't see often, but you feel a great connection with. And Coach Inman and I don't see each other a bunch of times a year. Excuse me, but we've had a great relationship over the years that I would characterize. I consider him a friend, and I hope he considers me a friend. But we competed against each other in the OVC when I was at Morehead State and he was at Eastern Kentucky. One of my great memories of coaching was an overtime game we won over there. And so the game came about when he got to Tennessee State. I called and congratulated him, and he said, we're not ready for a game now, but down the road, would you play us? And we'd like to play. And I was like, whenever you'd like to play, we will. And it was a great game for them and a great game for us. And it works out well for both schools. And I have the utmost respect for him. And he's one of the great coaches in women's college basketball. And he's one of the real legends of the Ohio Valley Conference. And this is the third school he's done it, and there's probably hadn't been anyone better.
Probably one more question.
there was a very short Instagram thing that you posted last night. It looked like you were giving the players shoes. Can you talk about what happened with that and why you did it and what it was and some of the best reactions that you might have gotten?
Well, just through the year, we have to provide them equipment to be able to play, and we're real fortunate to have a great relationship with Nike, and they do such a great job for all our sports here and providing our equipment for us. And we just went through a bit of a team building exercise, and I just am proud of this team. We're a very flawed group of individuals, starting with me, that has found a way, somehow, some way, to come together and be where we are now, and I'm really proud of them. And so, you know, it's just this time of year, it's kind of starting the season over and starting a new season. And, you know, their first pair of shoes at the beginning of the season, they always get, you know, I don't know. It's I was the same way as a player. You just, when you're a basketball player, you love your shoes. And so we just tried to make sure that we were starting out the journey here in this tournament with the most positive frame of mind, and that was just one of the fun little parts of it. And I don't get as excited over shoes as they, but it amazes me how much they enjoy it. They have a lot more pairs of shoes than I did when I was playing, but they love those. They're good-looking shoes, and so I told them they better play good in them, and or we may have to go back to the old ones. So, but it was just a fun moment as a team, and just trying to get the tournament started off in a real positive frame of mind.